Hello and welcome back to It's What I Do. Just got a little bit to do on the pond today. I've got to clean the upflow. I've got to put a second treatment in for ulcers. I've got a problem with one of the fish where he's damaged his scales, probably because of the Costia I had, and I think he's got a little bit of an infection behind it. It's possible I might have to remove the scales, but I want to give it every opportunity I can to sort itself out. Yeah, so I've got that to do, top the pond up. I've got to feed the birds as well, put some food in the aviaries. I might show you that, although the aviaries are not the cleanest of places. So anyhow, let's get on with it. Okay, so I started the upflow filter boiling away. I haven't cleaned it for about 4 days now, so it is quite dirty. Still very impressed with it. Very good. So yeah, we'll let that boil away for a minute or two, and then empty it out and whatnot. I've been using the water on the garden and the hanging baskets and stuff like that, and it's doing really well. So getting a double benefit from this, excellent filter and fertilising the plants. So yeah, very pleased. So I'll give that a boil and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, that's the upflow filter all nice and clean. And that'll run now for another few days before I clean it again. So what I've got to do now is top the pond up. So I've got my dechlorinating filter thing ready down there, and I'll just connect the pipe up and top my pond up. It'd be really nice to have an auto top up system, but hey ho, what we've got. I don't know, I think I mentioned it before, but the filter, the two normal filters that I've got here, we've got the sump style filter filled with alpha grog there, and then the trickle stroke shower filter there, which is full of pumice. Well, I emptied that out the other day and cleaned all the alpha grog that's in there. Surprisingly enough, it wasn't that bad. I was expecting it to be a lot worse, because I haven't done it for a long time. It's one of the benefits of those sorts of filters, you don't have to do them that often, but they're not that effective, so hey ho. So yeah, I cleaned it out. It wasn't too bad, it wasn't as bad as I was expecting. Washed all the alpha grog in pond water and put it all back together again. So yeah, so that's that one there. Ooh, don't know if you can see that clearly, but yeah. So I'll get the pond topped up, and while that's doing that, I'll probably clean this one, because this one's starting to back up a little bit, which means the filter floss is getting a little bit full. We can see there, starting to back up on the foams a little bit, so needs a clean. I'm really impressed though with how the upflow filter has improved this, because I was having to do this every couple of days, but now I can leave it nearly a week. This is a week it's been like that, and it's got to this stage, which isn't bad. So yeah, I'll do that and get back to you in a minute. Right, so I've topped the pond back up. That's up to about its maximum level now. Fish are all quite happy. As I said, there's one fish in there that I'm a little bit concerned about. It's got damaged scales and looks like an infection under the scales, which I'm going to have to do something about. It is being treated, due for its second dose with treatment going in today. But I'll probably have to get the fish out and give it a clean with a bit of Tamidin and stuff, see whether we can get on top of this. It doesn't look any worse, but it doesn't look any better neither, which is a little bit of a concern. But we'll have a go anyhow. First thing I've got to do is clean my little skimmer over there. So I'm going to get on with that and do that now. I'll pull it out and then I'll show you the skimmer. It's only a little floating thing. Collects a lot of the debris off the top of the pond, which is all I really want it to do. So yeah, I'll pull it out and I'll give you a quick look at that in a second. Right, so I've pulled this little floating skimmer out of the pond, and we'll take it apart. We take this top ring off, and then we've got a basket which you can see has collected quite a lot of crud, and then a little piece of coarse foam which again collects quite a lot of crud. So we're going to give those a rinse out, clean them up, and then put it back. Okay, so we've given it a clean out. I am going to need to jet wash this soon, try and get the algae off. There's quite a little algae growth actually on the basket itself. So, and that's the coarse foam. You can see it is very coarse. You can see straight through it. But it does collect a lot of the big bits of crap that float on the pond. So yeah, it does its job. So that goes in first. Goes in there. And we put the basket in. And then we put this top floating thing. I don't know what you'd call that. Weir. Well, it's like a weir, I suppose. It would be on a standard skimmer. That would be the weir because it floats up and down. So yeah. Right, I'll get that back in the pond and switched on. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, skimmer's back in the pond. Just need to switch it back on. One of the downsides to this type of skimmer, especially when it's freshly cleaned like that, is the fish have a tendency to come up underneath it and nudge it up, and then eventually the top comes up, and then it will just suck water out of it and it floats up. Which is a real pain, but as long as they don't nudge it too much while it gets going and it gets a little bit of weight into it, it works okay. It's one of them things I just have to keep an eye on. Let's just turn it on. I don't know how clearly you can see it, and there we go. It's on. You see it pulls quite a volume through it. When it's clean it does, anyway, which is quite good. But as I say, at the moment it's very vulnerable because if the fish nudge it at all, then it will start to float. Comes up out of the water and near enough runs the pump dry. So as long as they leave it alone, we're alright. So now what I've got to do is get the second treatment in and then have a look at this fish and see whether I need to put any more treatment on it or not. Unfortunately, he's one of these ones that when he gets stressed when you're catching him, he bleeds from the gills. So it's a weird phenomenon. I know other people have had that problem as well. I think Andy Daly used to have one that did it. Used to bleed from the gills when it was caught. Well, this one does it as well, so yeah. Unfortunately, I've got to do something with it. I can't just leave it because it'll end up getting really badly infected and end up having an ulcerated fish. So, and I don't want that. So right, yeah, I'll probably stick you on the head mount for doing this bit because it makes it easier. I've got free hands then. So back in a second. Okay, so this is the fish I'm talking about. I don't really want to sedate him. I've never sedated fish and I'm a little bit wary of doing it, but I think I might have to because I think I might have to take these scales off, but I'm going to give it a fair chance. And you can see, well, you can see that, look, these scales are not very good at all. Now I'm going to get some Tamidin under there. I'm going to mix up a solution of Tamidin so that I can use a syringe to just spray it through, and then we'll go from there. So we had another scale lost down there, but that wound looks quite clean now. A little bit there. But we'll get some Tamidin on there and we'll see how it goes. So let's get some mixed up. Okay, so I've mixed up some Tamidin in a solution of water, and I've got a little syringe there that I'm going to fill up with the solution and see if I can squirt it underneath the scale, see if we can get rid of that infection. This could be messy because he's probably not going to sit still while I do it. Yeah, come on, have a look.
Oh, what's wrong with him?
Look at his scales, yeah.
Oh no!
I'm trying to save him, but I don't think I'm gonna. I might have to take him off, but I'll have to sedate him to do that, and I really don't want to do that.
How's he done that?
It's probably the Costia, and whereas banging himself around because of the Costia.
He won't die, will he?
Oh, I hope not. Depends if I can get on top of this infection.
Is that what it is, an infection?
Yeah,
not damage. Oh, he's so big.
Yeah, it'd be alright if he was the other way round, wouldn't it?
Oh, blimey, that's a bright colour.
Yeah, don't get that on you because it will stain.
I don't know any old gear anyway. Have you already put some on there? Is that why it's so red?
No, that's the infection.
Oh, shit. Oh, I didn't do that. Oh, poor little thing. You might wash off though.
Yeah, but that's the idea. It kills infection on contact.
Oh, and then wash off. Oh, it was skin. Oh, it's like he knows what you're doing. Isn't he?
No, it's just getting tired and giving up, struggling.
Oh, it's awful. I wish that bloody step wasn't there.
So you normally put it on neat, but because it's under the scales. Okay, this is the stuff that I'm using to treat the pond with, to try and help with these damaged scales and infections and such like. I've no idea if it's any good or not, but I've got it, so it's worth a try. If this doesn't work, then I might have to get some is it aquaflavin? Ingredients: Bronopol, formaldehyde, benzoconium chloride, whatever that is. So we need what is it we need? 25 mil for every 100 gallons. Well, my pond is about 3,000 litres, which is about 675 gallons or something like that. So about 6.5 of these should be ample. Don't know how well you'll see because I'm going in and out of shade here. That's one. Two. Three. Four. Five. Six. And a half. So that should be enough. We're mixing it in this little jug. What I use for watering the plants. From the pond water, I might add, not from anything else. Yeah, so when I flush the upflow filter out, I'd use this to scoop out the water. There we go. So we're going to give that a little pour across the pond. What I did notice, when I put the first treatment in, what it did was calm the fish down. The fish was a lot calmer. I don't know if that's part of the process. It calms the fish down and causes less stress, which makes them less vulnerable to the ulcers. So with this stuff, what it is, you put a dose in, leave it 4 days, and then put a second dose in. And then it says you can repeat after 7 days if needs be. So I would think that would be after 7 days from the second dose. So today is Sunday, so if I need to I can do another dose next Sunday. But I think if I haven't seen any remarkable or remarked improvements on the injury on that fish, by then I think I'm going to have to go with the Aquaflavin. I think it's Aquaflavin, pretty sure it is, which I think is a bit of a stronger solution. But we'll see. So I want to give it every chance possible not to lose those scales, but if I do have to, then I'll have to sedate the fish and remove those scales. Really don't want to, which is why I've used the syringe this time to wash it out with the Tamidin. But I think the scales are probably too far gone. But let's say we'll give it every chance. Okay, next job on the list is clean the sponge and the filter floss on top of the trickle filter, trickle shower filter, whatever you want to call it. So what I've done, using me Y splitter down there, I've shut off the water going to the main filters, but I've left the upflow filter running, and I've reduced the pump down to 15%, which is about half what I'm normally running it at. So that's still running through the upflow filter. So right, I'll get on with that. I'll give that a clean and get back to you in a moment. Right, so I've just cleaned the floss out. It's just a case of putting it back in now. You can see this floss is quite thick. It's about, when it hasn't been used, it's about an inch thick, I suppose, maybe a little bit more. So it's quite a thick one. It's quite good. But this is a real back breaking job. I find it so difficult. It really gives me backache, which is why I'm so pleased with the upflow filter, because hopefully once I get the other one built, I can do away with these. Maybe just reduce it to one piece. because at the moment what I've got is 2 layers of filter floss in here, and then on top we've got the fine filter foams, which goes on top like so. And we put a spray bar back in. Like that. This wire just stops that from dropping down too low, because none of these are glued, they're just pressed in. Right, let's switch that back on. So we'll turn that back up there and put our pump back up to 31. And there we go. Water coming through there. Put my little crate back on top. I've mentioned it in other videos. All that's for is to stop the water from squirting straight up if anything blocks. So it'll just hit this and fall back down. And that's that done. I'll just stand my bucket up on top to finish draining off. And there we go, we've got the filter, the water feature running again now. Just have to watch that for a little while to gauge whether I've got that tap set right or not, because you don't want the water running through there too fast, and you don't want to starve the upflow either. We'll just turn that down a fraction. Oh. And that should be it. You see the foam that medication puts on top of the pond? That does disappear after a couple of days. Okay, so that's going to be about it for this one. Just before we go, I will mention, I don't know if you've looked before, but in the description of the videos there are some Amazon affiliate links for products. Well, I have updated those now, so you've got quite a few pond products on there, as well as like camera equipment and stuff. So if you are looking for something and you're going to be buying something, if you could have a look at those links and just click on them, have a look, and if they're what you're after and at the right price, if you can buy them through there, it helps me. Doesn't cost you anything extra, doesn't cost you a penny. But if you use those links, I get a little bit of a commission for it. And with Amazon, if you've got Amazon Prime, then you get most of the stuff the next day. If you haven't got Amazon Prime, I've actually added a link for that as well, and you get a 1 month trial, free trial of Amazon Prime, which is pretty good. I've had Amazon Prime for, I don't know, quite a few years, and I think it's pretty good. So yeah, anyhow, that's enough of me waffling, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.